Hey everybody, welcome back. And today we're talking to Bryan G. Johnson on the mindset, the success mindset, and what it takes to make a successful YouTube channel. Bryan, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Paul, it's great to be here. We've been friends for a while now, and we get to hang out, spend some time, chat a bit about YouTube. Should be a good time.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people have a lot to learn from you, and you have a lot of value to bring. Before we begin, a lot of people know you as a YouTube channel, as a YouTube growth channel, but they don't know you're actually a best-selling author. You actually wrote two books. I mean, one
True.
was Tube Ritual. I actually have that one in Poland, but look, I got Trust Funnel right here. And you were a chef for 18 years. You were an SEO. You were in affiliate marketing. Bryan, you've done a lot, man. What led you to become a YouTube specialist or a YouTube growth channel, so to speak?
Yeah, well, for me, you shared the Trust Funnel book, and that was a great experience writing that book. Really taking about 12, 13 years of experience that I have with making money online, internet marketing, affiliate marketing, all of those things. Put that in Trust Funnel, and then I spent a while launching the that flash got me,
Yeah, there
but
was a flash. There was a ghost on the channel. A ghost on the channel, but it went away, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay. We can continue.
yeah, exactly. So, it's like basically when I got done with the Trust Funnel book, I went through this period of what's next. And my prior experience, I relied a lot on Google SEO and whatnot. And I thought, you know what? Like a lot of people have been telling me video, you're heavy on video. And I never really focused on YouTube. I think a lot of people think of YouTube as like that's where I put the videos so I can put them on a website, or it's just like my video hosting. But there is a huge opportunity within YouTube. So that is what led me to creating the channel I have now, and really exploring like how can I create a channel that drives tremendous views, opportunity, money, the ability to build a list, the ability to get speaking engagements, and all of those things have worked out really well. So I really do love YouTube a lot. Video is very cool. It's grueling. A lot goes into good video, but at the same time, there's a big creative reward, I think, when you grow a channel.
Yeah. Hey, Bryan, in the beginning, your first videos, you had a certain persona, a certain style. Would you say that actually contributed to your success? It was very extreme, if you will, something very different. And I know it got me hooked.
I do I think it contributed to my success? It had to, because I'm
Yeah.
here now. I'm more successful. In fact, over the last about 4 or 5 months, Paul, every month, the amount of views that I'm driving on my channel, as well as the amount of people subscribing, is increased by about 30%. So November, it was maybe like 1,400 subscribers in the month.
Wow.
And then December was maybe 1,900, 1,800 subscribers. And then January, I broke 2,000 subscribers in a month. And then February was maybe like 2,500 subscribers in a month. And it continues to grow. So like those early videos, what I did when I started was, those were the seeds that I was planting. And I was finding my voice. I know what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to be dry or dull. I wanted to bring a lot of energy. I think I definitely went overboard. I think I focused too much on the humor, and I think that got in the way
Hmm.
of the information. I think I was so over the top that for a lot of people that extreme humor, that polarizing humor, got in the way of what they wanted. And it took me a while to find that happy medium, because like I said, for me it wouldn't be fun just to like share information sitting down like through a webcam. Like I wanted to do something that was a bit more creative, but I had to like go through that period of being a little too extreme, and that led me to where I am now. And I don't see the value in looking back and thinking, gosh, I wish I could have done this, or I should have done this. Who cares? It is
Yeah.
what it is. I learned a lot from it. I was still growing back then. People still really dug what I did, but I feel like what I'm doing today is even more in alignment with what people want, and it's working. So thumbs up.
Great. What does success mean for you? What is success?
Really great question. I think this is where we all really need to start, and I think a lot of people don't. Um, there can be a lot of versions of success. Maybe success is being super creative, like I talked about. Like I might not have grown as fast as I wanted to, but the level of creativity, like there was a lot of really fun, quirky, weird things going on, and that was rewarding for me. And I
Yeah.
think early on, being doing that creative thing was a little bit, I wouldn't say more important, but held a lot of importance to me. So that was success for me. I desired to grow more. So I really thought about, well, what does the audience want? Today, I think the thing that people can benefit by is to really stop and think like, what does success mean to you? And not just like I want more subscribers or I want more money or I want more of this. But for me, I always think about like, how do I want to spend my time? Because if I'm making $1 million a year, but I'm spending all my waking hours doing things I don't love, if I'm
Yeah.
not excited about what I'm doing, who cares? Because at the end of the day, like when I take my last breath, it's not going to matter how big my house is. It's not going to matter what kind of car I drive. I don't think on your deathbed you're like, I'm so glad I was able to drive a Porsche or a Bentley. I don't think that matters. I think it's about the experiences that we have. So to me, I love that I do get to marry this creative expression with also business and working with companies and doing affiliate marketing and sharing and coaching and teaching people. So to me, that is what success is. It's really about how I spend my time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not about the money. I gotta ask, and I'm not sure if this has got something to do with the answer or not, but I know that your one of your books is called Tube Ritual, and I think we can understand why it's called Tube Ritual. But Trust Funnel, what made you actually name your book Trust Funnel?
So I was kind of interested in some of like the legendaries of marketing and personal development, people like Zig Ziglar in particular. And I saw a quote about from Zig Ziglar, and the essence was people listen to those they like.
Yeah,
No, actually, that's not even it, Paul. It's people listen to those they know and they buy from those they
the
like. So,
trust.
like, once someone gets to know you, they're going to
Yeah,
be more likely to listen longer. And I really liked that, And I thought about this, like, how do you make money online? Like, how do you do an affiliate promotion without coming off slimy? How do you do an affiliate promotion without people feel like you're driving something down their throat, but at the same time still make a lot of money? And before I was a YouTuber, I was more of an affiliate marketer. And when I do affiliate promotions, my conversions were always through the roof. And I think the reason why was because of this whole trust funnel thing. And the idea of trust funnel is basically that how can you establish your presence online, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or your own website or LinkedIn or Instagram? It's all the same. And what are the things you can do to get people to know you? And that's why, like, if you look at the little icons, right? It's like social media, it's like Facebook thing, and they get to know you and then they drop through the funnel and then you get the money. And that's
yeah,
really been my experience. And I wanted to thus, I wanted to take these ideas from Zig Ziglar of people knowing, liking, trusting, and buying, and I wanted to bring that to present day social media marketing and how to do that today with, a YouTube channel or a Facebook account. So.
that's amazing. What drove you to get where you are? Was it a vision? Was it a need? Was it a feeling?
I think all of those things really. Um, I'm really big on vision. One of the people that I have learned a lot from is Jordan Belfort. I think he's got a big, huge story that draws people in.
Yeah,
Story is something that is so critical. And Jordan's got this amazing, like, bad boy, but exciting and the cars and the money and the girls and the getting arrested and kind of thing. Wolf of Wall Street, if you
Yeah,
don't know, if you're
of
watching.
course.
I know you do, but for anyone out there, and one of the things I've heard Jordan talk about is you've really got to have vision for what it is you're trying to achieve. And I see this as a roadblock for a lot of YouTubers in that they want to make money, for example, or they want to grow a channel, but they don't really have a vision of what it's going to look like in 2 years. And I did. Like I knew, generally speaking, I didn't have all the steps in place. And this is another roadblock. Some people do have the vision, but they want to know every last, like it's what it's going to look like. And nobody's going to know. Like how I make my videos today, the editing style, the color of my room, the lights I use. I didn't have any of that down, but I had the general idea. So it's like having the idea, the vision for where you want to go, and then just basically creating a plan of action. That's the strategy to back it up, and then just be willing to do it. As far as achieving success, I see so many people that really want a big channel or to make money or a mailing list, and it takes a lot of effort and work. And I think when you lean into that and you accept that, hey, number one, I can't do all the things I want to do. Like this is a big struggling point for a lot of people. They want to do what they want to do, and they put their own personal needs ahead of others. Like we talked about this early in the interview. As far as early with my channel, it was like the creative freedom and whatnot to do what I wanted to do, and it worked. But I think what I'm doing today works even better for drawing an audience. So it's like kind of all of these things coming together, the vision, the drive, and the putting in the work and so on.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think anybody can become successful in life, or do you think it's reserved for a few selected people?
I think anybody can improve upon their current situation. And a quote I saw from Augie Johnston, who actually he helps me edit my videos. He's got a company called VidChops, great guy, and he shared this quote that you don't have to be the best, but you have to be the best version of yourself. And this is something
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get hung up on. They don't believe that they can do it, so they don't do anything, and then they get jaded and disappointed, and then they live this life of complaining and bitching, and that doesn't do anybody any good.
Yeah.
And I think if you just lean in and you strive to improve where you're at, you're going to learn and you're going to get better. One of the things I've always said is people don't fail. They simply give up before the magic happens. I've written that on so many emails. And if you just truly try to do a bit better from what you did yesterday, you will find the results you're after. I guarantee it. In fact, today, another one of the sayings that I use a lot is success will be found in your next video. And it will. It's true. If you really want to grow and you're willing to try to publish the best video you can in a few days, and then when you're done, you do it again, and you do that for a year, I guarantee you'll be much better off than where you were when you started. It's just a matter of, will you be okay with the amount of effort that it takes to get you where you're going to go? And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't mean like everyone should just focus on YouTube and do YouTube. Like some people might be way better at podcasting, or some people should, maybe they should just focus on being live stream gamers, or maybe they should focus on, I don't know what, like butterfly collecting, or like, who knows? I think it's important to find your strong suit in life and to lean onto that, and then to try to become the best version of yourself possible.
And rolling off of that point, that actually goes to my next question. Do you think anybody can become successful on YouTube specifically?
No. Do I think, well, like, let me ask you, and again, this goes back to our definition. What is success? What does that mean? Because, like, so what is success then, Paul?
Well, it depends on each person what success is for them. Yeah, I mean, you can become. It's got nothing to do with money. I mean, so you can be the most successful, I don't know, person, beggar on the street. Of course, you'll get more money that way. What I mean is, can anyone get in front of the camera? Can anyone be a successful YouTuber? Can anyone make it on YouTube?
I think if someone really, really desires that success, the answer is yes. But what I will say is I see a lot of people that I feel they're doing the wrong channel,
Hmm.
or they're simply not focused on the learning aspects, and they're not focused on what matters most. I see a lot of people that get like they don't honor what is most important, and that would be number one, the audience rules. Like, you've got to figure out what the audience responds to. You've got to work on your presence. Like in this interview, there hasn't been a lot of ums or ahs. I haven't
Yeah.
like, I might have paused maybe a few times, but like how I present today, how I talk, how I articulate my thoughts is much stronger than it was 10 years ago, because I've practiced this, because I do video a lot. So I think, unfortunately, a lot of people get in this position of their expectations, as we've talked about, are out of line, and they have hopes and expectations that are only going to be met with disappointment, and then they give up far too early. Like, I can't tell you how many times I go to a channel and it's like, you've uploaded 20 videos. Like, that's not even, you're not even in the pregame yet. You're
Yeah.
still in, like, you're in the opening stages of a really, like, YouTube success on YouTube does take a lot of effort and work, but the rewards when you get on the other side are so amazing. But the only way you get there is to focus on what's most important. So I think that's what people have to really consider, is they have to focus on creating far better videos, and what that means in order to reach that success. It's not the algorithm's fault. It's not the monetization fault. It's not this or that. It's like, it's you. Like, I
Yeah.
literally made a video and I was a little worried, because it's like, wake up call, it's you.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not your channel, it's you. And I actually had one comment. She's like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like, I feel like you're talking down to us, or you're arrogant. And I'm like, it's not that. It is that after being on YouTube, teaching about the platform, sharing ideas about growing, I've had so many questions, and I see so many people that aren't focused on the right thing. And I wanted this to be a bit jarring. It's like I wanted to shake people a little bit. And I know that there were definitely people that probably clicked away, and they probably won't watch for a while. And I guess I made that decision that I'm going to be okay with that. Um, but I hope I planted the seed in some, that they'll realize that, if I really want to succeed, I have to honor the viewers and the things that are most important.
It's funny because I had a mentor back when I used to have a bar, kind of like a Tarantino bar, bar club, whatever. And he gave me an example one day, and his example was a little harsh, and I'm going to use his exact words, but he said, if if you have a successful bar or a bar, or actually, no, he didn't even say that. He said, if you have a whorehouse, don't try to make it into the best. Don't try to make it into a club or exclusive club. Try to make it the best whorehouse in the whole area. And
Mm-hmm.
what he was trying to tell me was like, listen, you have a bar, a club sort of thing. If it's 400 people, 300, 400 people, don't try to make it something it's not, because, it
Totally.
will ultimately lead to failure.
Man, I love that, dude. It's like don't make that bar into a supper club.
Yeah, something like that.
Like
But
like people don't want to go there to have a nice dinner. It's a bar.
yeah,
They like want to have drinks. They want to let off some steam, maybe hear some music, whether it's live or DJ or
exactly.
whatever, and they want to party some, you know. And I think, and this is again, I think, really identifying like what it is that you're going to create, and to have that vision. And I feel like when I started with my channel, I had an idea of what I wanted it to evolve to, and today it is that thing. Like, like I was mentioning, I didn't have it all figured out of exactly what it was going to look like, but it's
Yeah,
pretty much like I envisioned. I talk about marketing. I love the algorithm. I love understanding like what makes YouTube tick, which is so interesting, because at the end of the day, it's just people, and I
yeah,
think this is the disconnect. It's like it's people. Like, the longer they watch, the better. The more they watch, the better. The more they come back to your channel, the better. Um, it's not like you get a turn, you don't get to press a button and say, I just triggered the algorithm. Like you got to
Exactly.
work hard to get the people to really like be excited about your channel.
You gotta
And
trigger
that
people.
means a lot of sacrifice,
A lot of people are concentrating on trying to trigger the algorithm instead of trying to trigger people.
Yeah, exactly.
That said, we mentioned before that success is not about money. Inevitably, money comes with success, in the most part. It doesn't matter what you feel, what success is. But do you think anybody can break out of poverty in life?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure like if I went and did research, I could find, of course, like it's the cliche hip hop rap to riches
Yeah,
story that we hear about, and it's people that grew up with very little, but they made the best with what they had, and it's stepping stones. And I think this is another way of kind of sharing my ideals and thoughts about success is that, for most of us, it's not like this thing just blows up.
yeah,
Like you publish 6 videos and video 4 and 6 go through the roof, and it's this rags to riches story. For most of us, it's like a slow ascent.
yeah.
It's like another story I hear is like the overnight success of a rock star who releases their first album, and they go and it's huge. And it's like, well, they just released their first album, but they spent 10 years rehearsing with
Exactly.
the band, writing these songs. Like the songs that you hear on their first album, like they were probably different forms of those songs for so many years. And it's like taking these steps to achieve that success.
Yeah. Takes many years to become an overnight success.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, I feel like I don't like the idea of like I'm successful now. I feel like I've got a long way to go. I'm just a guy that doesn't sit well with average. I want to do something fantastic, but I feel like I am growing quite a bit, and I feel like a lot of people probably just see like what I do now, but you've been around now for a while, and you saw the evolution of what I've
Yeah.
done, and I've changed a lot of different. It's not just like the style of delivery, it's the lights and the cameras and learning the tech and the audio and the editing, and whether I edit my own stuff or my team edits my stuff. It's like it's a big evolution. And again, I don't know if this was in this take of the interview or one of our mishaps, but when you learn to appreciate the journey, the today, it becomes amazing because a lot of times we have these ideals of like when I get 1,000 subscribers or 10,000, it's going to
Yeah.
be this big deal. And often you get there and it's like, well, it was kind of cool for a minute, but now, well, now what? Well, I bet you 20,000 subscribers will really be amazing. So
Yeah.
enjoying the today is pretty neat.
It's the journey. I totally agree with that. And sometimes people are happier within the journey than what they are with the outcome. It's kind of weird like that. What do you think it actually takes to succeed? Are there sacrifices made? Did you lose friends, loved ones along the way? People try to hate you, break you. How was that part of the journey, Bryan?
Yeah, I'm a pretty to myself kind of person. It's weird. I can go to events. I'll know a lot of people. I'll high five. I'll hang out. But I love my alone time. I love
Yeah.
and I can be very comfortable in that. But at the same time, I have had some close friends, and it's not like I ended a relationship, but it did cool off based on just choices that I made, And I think, like for me, being positive about things is super, super important. It's really easy to place blame on things that are outside of myself, but at the end of the day, it's like the success I desire. Bitching about YouTube and the latest algorithm change, or bitching about the fact that I'm not growing as fast as Nick Nimmin, that's not going to make it any different for me. The way that I can achieve what I want is just to focus on me and focus on what I need to do. So I think that's super, super important. As far as sacrifices, did you say sacrifice?
Yeah,
maybe.
sacrifices made. I mean, losing friends, losing loved ones, and you had to do it, or it was part of the journey, so you can succeed. Because I personally believe inevitably you do. But I just wanted to hear your
Yeah. For me, I think it's sacrificing our personal wants day to day. Like, boy, this, what would be a big platform right now, or like Instagram's been getting big over the last few years.
yeah,
And, oh, I know, Twitch. Right now, there's a bunch of YouTubers that are interested in Twitch, and they're all going to jump to Twitch. And I guarantee, mark my words, there will be plenty of struggling YouTubers that will have high expectations. They'll be very excited, and they will get on Twitch and they will struggle, and it'll be the same experience.
yeah,
Now, can some of those break out on Twitch? Maybe, but generally speaking, it's like, I think for me, sacrificing certain things in order to gain success is important. Like, for example, on Thursday, I spent the whole day, on a video. That was my entire day. I woke up. It was my day to publish. I had nothing. I didn't have any footage filmed. I didn't have the thing uploaded, ready to push publish. And I had literally started on Wednesday night. I scribbled a few notes for about 10 seconds. And then Thursday morning, I sat down and I organized a rough outline of a video, spent an hour doing that, spent another hour filming, and then I spent about 8 hours editing. And then I finished and I spent another, 30 or 40 minutes tweaking a thumbnail. That wasn't as good as it is today because I made more improvements, but that was like, I would have liked to be wrapped up at 2 o'clock and maybe play an online game or just relax, take a walk with my dog. But, my channel says I publish on Thursdays,
yeah.
Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So I had to sacrifice and just buckle down. I think that's, me and Nick, we're pretty close. We chat a lot. I know you're friends with Nick as
Yeah.
well. And we both really lean into the fact that, in order to achieve a certain level of success, we've got to kind of lean into the grind. And it's, again, that's that sacrifice, and a lot of people aren't willing to do it, unfortunately.
Well, they say that there's two sayings that one is you're the average of the 5 closest people you hang out with, and one I like, which I use a lot, is if you hang out with 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th. If you hang out with 5 drug addicts, you'll be the 6th. If you hang out with 5 average people, you'll be the 6th. And I think your friends play an important role, as well as your surroundings when it comes to success. Do you agree with this?
Yeah, I think so, absolutely. And it's just, again, having a strong surrounding, like the company you keep is important because, those are usually the people that are at a higher level. Those are the people that are at the level that you're at, and they're doing it. Like a lot of, like me and Nick will have many conversations, and it's about like where we're going or where we've come, because now we've been at it for 2 years. And like a lot, you can't really see it, but I've got my stake your claim sign right there. You can see the stake. And it's not just a tagline, it's a way of life. It's like I've lived this staking your claim thing for a long time, and a lot of the conversations, like I said, I'll have with Nick is like, wow, this is really cool. Like, we're both moving forward. We both have brand deals. We both work with a lot of different companies. We both have channels that a lot of people would love to have. We both are achieving what we set out to do. And that's really cool. So like when it was Thursday and I was doing those things, I was like, I've got to earn my keep. Like, what me and Nick do, the level of success that I want demands that I just don't get to just piss off and say I'll upload Friday morning, which I almost did. But I didn't, when I was sick 2 weeks later, then that's different. And I didn't upload for a while, but I think it's just, you've got to be willing to lean into it and really put in the effort. So often, again, Paul, I'm thinking about YouTubers and they say, why am I not growing? And it's like, because you're measuring your channel against channels that have been at it for much longer. You've
Yeah.
uploaded 20 videos, and you're measuring against channels that have been uploading now for 5 years consistently. They've got 300 uploads. They've got 500 uploads, and you're not there yet. And it's and furthermore, along with the amount of uploads comes almost always an improved product.
Yeah. And you know what? It doesn't matter if it takes you longer or shorter to do it. It's still the same journey. Whether it might take you a little longer or a little bit less. You just still have to move forward. It's the ends justify the means, right?
Yeah, I think for me, I've actually said this, is that when you get to that place where you've got a channel, you upload a video, you drive a lot of views, you have a lot of comments, it's a channel that people are excited about. I think those people that feel that excitement, those people that return to the channel to watch the videos, I don't think they really care that it took 4 years or maybe 6 years or 6 months. I think that they love the videos. I think they love the expression that is happening on that channel at the time. And that's the thing that matters. So that's one of the things I think about a lot, is that, it might have taken me an extra year to get to a place where Nick was. Like, I didn't have the technical abilities. I didn't have the camera skills. I didn't have the editing skills. I didn't know about audio. There's a lot of learning, and I use all the, I've got, this is the latest, new lens, new cam. I've got so many cameras, or wide angle lenses, bokeh, blurred background, kinetic text, jump cut. I mean, on and on. And that's just the technical aspects. And we got thumbnails and art and branding and presence, and it's a lot. So again, I think, as long as you make it, that's what matters.
But you know what, Bryan, just on the top of my head, if I do the math, I think you're growing at pretty much the same rate, or almost the same rate. Let me tell you why. And let's take a pause of the interview, but you guys can listen too, since you're here. But I actually met you when you had 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers, if I remember correctly, even 1,000 maybe. But I remember the 4,000 for some reason. And okay. I remember doing an interview. I remember doing a collaboration with Nick when he had 30,000 subscribers or so, about that.
Okay.
Year later, he has 160 something thousand. Yeah. And you're at 35,000. If you 30. Do it, not statistically, but what's the word? If you take the growth, the percentage, I don't think you're far off.
The thing about it for me is, I don't think it matters for a lot of people. Like the people that love the videos I make, that's what matters. It doesn't matter how many of them there are. At a certain point, I think that's the learning to love the journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me, it's I absolutely want it. My goal is to have that silver play button. That's something that not a lot of people have done.
Yeah.
And in order to get there in a certain time frame, I needed to reach a certain level of growth. And one of the things I mentioned, I think it was in our first take of this interview, was basically since November now. So that's a lot of months: November, December, January, February, now March. That's 5 months. Every month, the rate at which I gain subscribers has increased by about 25%.
Yeah. Which
doesn't sound like a lot, but if you add it, if you're gaining 1,000 subscribers on month one, then it's 1,250 subscribers. Then it's 1,600 subscribers, then it's 2,000. And right now I'm just about to crack 3,000 subscribers a month. So I'm definitely making strides. I'm definitely in a rare group. There aren't a lot of channels in the entrepreneurial space that are gaining the amount of subscribers I am. And I think it'll continue, because I think what happens is you work hard to reach a baseline where the baseline is at the level where enough people that find your videos go, wow, that's pretty cool, I want to subscribe.
Yeah.
And I think it's up to us to figure out why we're not at that baseline. Exactly. So my delivery was too wacky, I tweaked it. My audio sucked, I improved it. My editing was good, but I even made it better. I liked the background and the colored lights, but then I got a blurred lens, or not a blurred lens, but camera trickery, bokeh, dropped $400 and the look got even cooler. And I think that's the thing. And this is what I was talking about, like striving to create a better video will serve people, you know? And I wish I got more questions like, hey, how can I make my videos look cooler?
Yeah.
But what I get is, how can I drive more views? Which is great, but the way you do is to figure out how to make a better video.
By making it cooler.
By making it cooler, by being cooler. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't cool back in the day. There was something there. I think that's what it was. Like, gosh, there's something there. It's kind of weird, but there's something there. And I feel like I took the something there, and now it's like, I feel like I'm kind of quirky cool. And that's like, I wanted that kind of vibe, you know? So, but it takes time to figure that out.
And by the way, just to go back to another question that we did previously about if it's possible for anybody to get out of poverty, because I know there's a lot of people thinking right now it's different for me, it's not the same thing. Chances are, if you're watching this video right now, you have the chance to get out of poverty. Yes, there are extreme situations. You're probably not in them. Especially if you're watching how to become successful videos, yeah? So you can do it, yeah? And I really believe that, I just wanted to get that out there for people watching, because out of experience, a lot of people watch these videos just to have excuses rather than actually taking action and doing it.
I think it's easy to think that our situation is unique and different, because we are unique and different creatures.
True.
We each have a personality. But I think the thing is at the end of the day, if you really want to succeed, you just have to say, you know, hey, this is the hand that I was dealt, and I got to play it the best I can. The reason I've got a good sense of humor, and I feel like it's fun to chat with you about like my journey, because you expressed it too at the beginning of this interview. You're like, you were out there, and now what you do is better, or I don't know. You just said it's different, but improved. And you know, I struggled in school, dyslexic. I spell words backwards. I'll say words backwards. I've said pocky huck. I've said mop it a buck water. And I would stop and laugh at myself, because it was a good defense mechanism.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I can make other people laugh, then that is a skill, and I'm bringing value in some kind of quirky way. And that made it challenging for me to grow up, you know? I had really bad grades, but it's like I overcame that, you know, and I still, man, like my spelling, but yet I wrote 2 books, you know? So I think it's just, you got to just take where you're at and just say, you know what? Because at the end of the day, Paul, either you do this, you're like, okay, this sucks. It's a bad situation, but I'm going to do this and I'm going to move forward. Or this sucks. It's a bad situation. And you stay in that place, and I'll never make it. And these guys don't understand. And what's sad is that when you're in that space, then that's the best it ever gets, which that's a bummer.
It's actually interesting you should say that. I'm just going to go out and say this for some people that are watching as well. I never finished school. I was kicked out of a couple. And I've had a pretty up and down life. I went bankrupt a couple of times. You know, I wrote 2 books as well. Last year, I wrote them while I was fighting cancer. I started my YouTube channel fighting cancer with no eyebrows. I looked like crap. But yet I got in front of the camera and I did what I had to do, because I had a vision. I had my own reasons. This interview is not about me. But again, you just have to take action and do what you got to do to succeed. Yeah? And it was hard, but it was either that or crying for a year waiting to see what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, actually, I do know what you mean. I've gone through some very traumatic things and super scary life situations myself, where I didn't know what was going to happen for many years. Like it was going to be this or that, but I just kept moving forward. And I think that's the commonality that we have, Paul. Because what the other path sucks. Like if you would have done nothing,
it would have been from the beginning.
That would have been worse.
I wouldn't have had a baseline. I wouldn't have had nothing. I probably would have still been sick, because, believe me, a lot of things help, and that was one of them, or at least to keep your insanity. It probably did.
It gave you something to focus on, you know?
Sorry?
It gave you something to focus on.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So they say you need to fail in order to succeed. How do you handle failure, and how do you push through, Bryan?
Um, I think a lot of people. I think before we can even get to failure, I think we have to return to expectations because I think today the expectations people have are whack. I
Yeah,
think that so many people watch, if we're talking YouTube, watch YouTubers, they see the success, but they don't really take a look at what went in to making that success happen. They don't look at the catalog of videos. They don't look at the years. And it's not just how many videos. Think of all the thoughts that run through your head in a year period. And if you're trying to improve and grow a YouTube channel, think about how all the decisions you make. Like I've made so many and they've served me well. So I think that it starts with having realistic expectations. And as far as failures go, um, I don't know. Again, I think sometimes I'm built a little differently than a lot of people. I just think about like, I'm not done yet. So I haven't lost yet. Like
yeah,
there's no failure. Like I'm still making videos. So shut the hell up. Don't count me out. Like if you think I'm a loser, which it's interesting. There are people, some of my peers, and they've treated me poorly and
yeah,
they counted me out, and that's cool. But like the longer they count me out now, just makes them look crazy. Like
yeah.
people might think I was crazy, but like who's really crazy? Like I'm growing, I'm doing brand deals, I'm making money, I'm having fun. There's people responding, and I think when you're in the game and you just keep striving forward, then you'll find this success. It's being willing not to lie down and say I failed. Maybe that's the answer.
Yeah, it's happened to me many times too. Actually, it does happen. A lot of people try to put you down, and it's especially hard when people on top of you do it and they don't believe in you, or they put you down, or. But I found that the really successful people don't do that. It's mostly the average sort of people that do that. Once you see the success and you get it, you want to help people and you never count anybody out. Unless it's complete crap, that's a different story.
Yeah, I see that too. I see a lot of people that I see both sides of the spectrum, but there is a huge group of people that are incredibly successful and they want to pull others up. And I'm from that camp. You're from that camp. Nick is for sure. Like
Yeah,
Owen Hemsath,
yeah,
absolutely. A lot of amazing people, and it's easy to say, we're competing against each other. And I get that a lot in my comments. Like, why would you send people to Nick's channel? Or why would he do that for you? And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, you could look at it as competition, but we also look at it as number one, I've sent Nick business and he's made money. So
yeah,
I established the connection and then he made money.
yeah,
And then he's returned the favor for me. And furthermore, like because we weren't so much worried about competition or who's going to be better. Like when we both started, we both had 2,000 subscribers, like you mentioned.
yeah,
And now it's like he's grown a lot faster, but we both are growing. So we just think of it as like, hey, we were pals when we started. We had a mission. We shared ideas. We helped each other out, and we're still doing that. And that makes the journey so much richer and more exciting. So
true. Yeah. So let me change the subject a little bit. Still on success, of course. They say a woman can make or break a man. Do you find this true? And have you encountered this in your path to success?
yeah, that's fun. I'm laughing because I'm laughing. So, do you know Sunny Lenarduzzi?
It doesn't ring a bell right now.
Okay, so she's got a channel on uh, growth, entrepreneurship, YouTube success,
Yes, I do know her. She's, I think she's from somewhere in the Middle East or India.
Canada.
Oh, but she's Middle Eastern or?
No, you're thinking of who's that? You're thinking of I can't think of her name right now. You're thinking of someone else, but not
Anyway,
Sunny.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so Sunny Lenarduzzi. And again, this is an example of people working together. She was looking for like an algorithm YouTube whiz kid,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought she's super successful,
Mm-hmm.
and I've really appreciated who she is and what she does and whatnot. Um, and right as you were saying this, I got a message from her because basically she's looking for someone, and she hired me, and I worked with her for about 5 months with clients, and she's been great, and I've learned a lot from her. As far as like having a woman by your side, like my wife has been
Yeah.
like amazing and so supportive, and she listens to me babble about all the YouTube and lenses and cameras and uh, and that's been amazing. And I've been on both sides of it too. Second marriage, first wife launched plants at me and threw things, and we had a challenging relationship, and I feel really blessed today to have a super supportive wife, and furthermore, like I said, to be able to work with great people, like working for Sonny, who I've learned a lot
Yeah.
from and really respect. And to me, I think that's the key, is to try to learn from everybody you can, and try to support others and respect others moving forward.
Yeah. It's nice to have a wife that listens to you, Brian. My girlfriend will not listen to me about business. She just goes nuts. But I'm always. But
Well,
anyway,
I
so
do
but
the
she's been
same, though.
very.
I don't know how my wife does it.
She's very supportive. My girlfriend's very, for 3 years. She went through a lot with me.
I bet.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but when it comes to business, she thinks I'm too too obsessed, and I
Yeah,
guess that
well,
kind
I
of
think
like
sometimes that's what it takes. I think like if you really want to be successful, you just keep at it. Like
exactly.
like I really enjoy it just for it's like a game of chess to me.
Yeah.
As much as the money, right? It's like how to figure this thing out,
Yeah. Do you play chess?
No.
Okay. I'll ask you about your hobbies in a while. What I want to ask you is this. Do you think mentors are important? And did you have any mentors in general?
Yeah, I think it's important to have someone that you seek advice from, someone that you look up to. So for like Sunny, to me, is I consider her a mentor, and at the same time, I feel like we're peers too. Like I feel like Nick Nimmin is a mentor, but we're also peers.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of relationships where it's strictly like mentorship and whatnot, and definitely having a sense of relying on somebody that has done or is doing the thing you want to do. I see a lot of, again, we're talking off, the common theme is often YouTube. I see a lot of YouTubers taking advice from other YouTubers that don't really have any success, and
Yeah.
I think that's kind of dangerous. I think you really have to um, be selective with who you take advice from. A lot of people, and I'm kind of weird like that. Like, I mean, honestly, like I don't seek a lot of advice from people. I want to figure it out for myself. That's kind of how I'm built. But there are a handful of people I'm going to definitely listen to. Like me, like I have always really respected Nick a lot,
Yeah.
and the same goes for Nick with me. Like Nick hired me as a coach early on,
Oh wow.
and
That's cool.
yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Um, on this book, like, my testimonials here.
Yeah.
I don't know how well that'll come in, but basically it says, one conversation with you about focus changed the trajectory of my YouTube channel and my business from slow and steady to explosive growth. I'm
Wow.
forever ever grateful. And it's basically, I was just sharing, Nick was trying to decide where he was at, what he was going to do with YouTube. And do you remember, did you see the channel Nick had, All Our Questions?
Yes.
I figured you probably did. Well, when we first became friends, he was doing that channel, and I asked him, like, well, what do you really want? And he says, well, I want to be successful. That's the biggest thing. And I said, are you really tied to any one theme or topic? Like, what's more important, success or a theme or topic? He said success. And he was talking about like the time and energy that would go into an All Our Questions video
Yeah.
versus teaching about cameras or YouTube or this or that. And that was kind of that conversation, and so I think it's really important to seek advice from those people that are speaking from experience, because a lot of people don't.
Yeah. And since you just mentioned your book, okay, you wrote 2 books. Do you read books? And if yes, which ones have you read? And which ones do you?
I've read a lot of books. I listen to books as well. Yeah, I've just tons of them up back there. Those are all mine, but down there are
Yeah.
some other ones. Like I just read, I've mentioned Jordan Belfort, Way of the Wolf.
Yeah.
If you like persuasion and sales and whatnot, highly recommended, amazing book. Um, the One Thing, Essentialism, How the World Sees You by Sally Hogshead, amazing book. I think it's important to Prince,
Hmm.
more influences, different influence, but influence nonetheless. I
Yeah.
think it's important to seek out, again, seek out advice from people who have done what you've wanted to do. You know, like Sally Hogshead is a great speaker, but I think she can teach me share some ideas with me as
Of
well. So
course. Of course. Of course. Do you have any habits or morning rituals?
yeah, I always, I always, I always focus on what's most important first. So usually, I don't do interviews, I don't do webinars, I don't do business meetings, I don't do anything like that until 1 o'clock usually.
Hmm.
And the reason for it is I want my morning time when I'm at my best, my most creative, the most likely to create a lot of content, whether I'm writing a book or filming videos or scripting videos or making thumbnails or whatever. I want that time for me. So I always begin my day like I'm not on Facebook trying to figure out how to grow a business. I'm making a video. Like that, like if for me to have success, the most important thing is my next video, like I shared earlier. So I'm
Yeah.
doing those things in the morning. In fact, I call that my productivity ritual.
Okay. Um, okay. Do you have any more? Do you have any? I know I asked you about morning rituals. Do you have any night rituals? I know that sounds kind of creepy and cultish, but that's not how I mean it. Do you
No, I
do?
know what you mean. Like, I mean, the definition of ritual is uh, doing a series of steps in a prescribed order. So I really like that. It's like these are the steps you take, but they're not just steps. It's like in this particular order. And having a ritual is super powerful. I just pretty much have my morning ritual. Like
Okay.
that's kind of my thing, and that keeps me going because usually by the time like I'll do stuff in the afternoon like we're doing now, this interview and or a webinar, or I'll be hanging out on Facebook, or I'll be planning video. I'll still might be doing the video kind of thing, but
Yeah.
I found like for me starting early and like I think it used to be like by 9 o'clock, if I'm not actively creating by 9, at that moment, like I have to create. I think now it's probably 8, maybe even
So it's a
earlier.
full-time job for you, YouTube now. It's actually a full-time job. And I'm not saying you
Yeah.
don't have other things you do, but YouTube itself, it's a full-time job and you find time for everything else.
It's interesting because I think a lot of people are like, how can I make more money with YouTube? It's like, well, the most important thing is to be consistent and publish
Yeah.
videos regularly. And the more you do that, and by having a vision of what it's going to look like, how you're going to make money, by continuing to do that, the opportunity comes to you. Um, I don't really try to sell myself a lot on YouTube, and yet I get brand deals a lot. Um, I guess I did one time with Morning Fame, and now I own a part of that business, which is great. I get a percentage from Morning Fame, which is wonderful. And
Yeah.
but a lot of opportunity flows to me, and I know it's the same way for Nick too. And the thing that we focus on is just like what's most important is to build the audience.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me one characteristic that your loved ones know you by.
Being like that quirky, goofy guy.
Okay. And what about one characteristic your haters know you by?
My haters, the same thing.
The same thing, yeah?
Yeah,
How,
the same exact thing.
so, okay. So there's consistency in that. How do you handle your haters?
I delete and block them. Simple.
For, I think there's both technically and normally in your life as well, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Like on a technical point of view, like they're no longer around, and a lot of times it's like I want to give them the benefit, and usually it's a huge reflection on them more than me. So sometimes I'll try to like respond, but the fact of the matter is that like I'm emotional guy. I
Hmm.
can easily be impacted that can make me feel bad, like a hateful comment, even if I know it's kind of like stupid and ridiculous, but it can still bug you. And I don't want to be, I don't have time to feel down. I don't have like,
Yeah.
I got a new video I got to script out and I need to be at my best. So because of that, it's like, if someone comes on my channel and they're a pain in the ass and they leave crappy comments or something, like delete, ban, and then they're done. They're not around anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me. Do you have any hobbies, Bryan?
I like music quite a bit. I love music, in fact. I like to create stuff. That's my hobby, like writing books, making videos. That's my hobby. I do play video games. I can go for like 3 months without playing, or 6 months
Yeah.
even, but then I'll pick it up again and like usually, like lately I've played probably 3 hours in the last week, maybe an
Of
hour here, and not a lot, just a little, a little bit in the afternoon, right? Like 4 o'clock.
Overwatch?
I used to. That was about 2 or 3 years ago. Now it's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Oh, okay, because you always give it as an example.
Yeah.
So I figured you used to play.
I did, and that's why I use it. Sometimes I'll mention PlayerUnknown's too, and I've always been really fascinated with game design, and I think it's something really neat about coming up with an idea for a game and then coming up with the lore and how it's going to work and the rules, and then mapping it out and the artistry of it. Like that's super creative, and I find it really neat, So it's fun. Like I'll watch the development of a game, and I enjoy that just as much as playing a game. So
That's awesome. Do you believe you visioned your future, created it in your head,
yeah, absolutely, no
and you
question
made it
about it.
into a reality?
Oh yeah, without doubt.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's easier than, there's not a lot to elaborate. You just have to put in the work. We can talk about it forever, but at the end of the day, like if you really want something bad enough, I think you'll sacrifice in order to get it.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then when you start achieving it, then you start seeing that like, wow, it's possible. And then it's easier to double down. What's sad is a lot of people, they quit right before 3 Feet from Gold, Napoleon Hill. You've probably heard that story a million times. Like, it's like, you get a little bit into something, you don't see many results. So you feel like, this is dumb. Maybe I should try something else. So you stop, you start again. You don't get any results. You start getting jaded. None of it works. Everyone's a crook. They're just trying to sell me stuff.
Yeah.
And then you start another thing 6 months later. But if you just stick with something and you really choose, that's another thing. I don't think people choose. I think people get swayed by other people. Like I didn't start YouTube because I got an email and there was a new product out, or that, YouTube it's this new way to do things. It's like, no, I made up my mind to do YouTube and then I just did it,
Yeah. It's funny, you mentioned a lot of people like Zig Ziglar, Napoleon Hill. I wrote my book, The Closers Part 3. I wrote it with Ben Gay III. They were together. They were all friends. Ben Gay is actually a living legend because he's the last one of that clique. Like he worked with Zig Ziglar, worked with Napoleon Hill, and I hear stories. And and it's surreal for me because I used to read all these books before. So,
yeah.
But yeah. So do you believe achieve success for you? Do you believe okay, this is going to be a weird one now. Do you believe you achieved success for you, or do you believe you achieved success for a loved one, even one you have not met yet, but in the past, like for the people you're with now? Did you vision that part? In other words, I know it's kind of weird the way I'm asking it, but
I don't know. Like the way I see it is like, I think I see things or experience it a little bit different. Like for me, I do feel like I'm achieving what I set out to do, but am I a success? Like, I don't know. Like I'm too busy. I got a video to publish on Tuesday and I'm thinking about it. And I'm thinking about the thumbnail. And then what comes after that? I think I'll follow it up with a Peter McKinnon, how he makes money video, or maybe a part 2 to Casey Neistat story. Or, it's like I want to focus on what I'm doing day to day, rather than thinking I'm a success. You know what I mean?
Got you.
Like to me, it's important to strive to be the best you can be, and I'm not there yet. And I won't be until I'm unable. You know, like we all have an infinite ability to create and make and do until we don't, until our health deteriorates. And then we've kind of lived out our life. And I'm still in that phase of trying to like reach my potential. I think that's how I think of it. The best way I can explain it is I'm not the best version of me on YouTube yet. So I'm going to keep pushing to try to figure out what that is. That's why I got a new camera, so I can keep learning and try to evolve, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And what is the best advice you can give to people struggling to become successful on YouTube right now?
You'll find success in your next video.
Yeah.
And when you're done with that, start again.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I think if you really focus on that, the one thing I would add is that you're striving to create the best video you can in a reasonable manner. Reasonable means you publish 1 or 2 times a week and you make the best video you can. And when you're done, you repeat that. And the way you measure the success of each video is through the audience that you want. And the more you think about those things, and the more you keep it simple and creating great videos and learning what goes into all of that, the better you'll be. I think too many people are looking for the like, well, maybe if I do maybe it's the channel tags or the YouTube tags, or maybe if I do live streaming, or maybe if I go to Twitch, it'll be easier. I heard Twitch is better. YouTube sucks. Versus focusing on what's most important. Like, you know, the people that succeed at the highest level, there's no question that they're really focused on the day-to-day. They're focused on, and they have an understanding of what's most important. You know, you're not going to find success by being the best YouTube tagger on the planet. Like if you understand the tags the best, that's not going to get you the success. It can help, and that's why I like to teach it. Like I know beyond a shadow of a doubt how I tag my videos helps me drive, maybe it's 16% more views, or maybe it's 12 or 9, but I do know that helps. But you can't take a turd and then tag it well and then expect to drive views. It's a crappy video.
Yeah.
And you know, unfortunately, a lot of people, they're looking for that thing that's outside of them versus looking inside and saying, I need to do better. Like success is up to me.
Nice. Bryan, thank you so much for this interview. You were great. Your advice was amazing. People, I want you to check down the description below. I have Bryan G. Johnson's channel. I think it's Bryan G. Johnson TV. I'll have a link below, as well as his books. I totally advise you to check out these books. Do not take no shortcuts. You gotta learn. You gotta learn. Always be learning. Again, Bryan, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
We made it happen. It was great. I enjoyed the time, and thank you so much for having me, Paul. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Bryan. Take care.